Alright folks, how's it going out there today? Rooster in Tennessee. Looking at what I consider a very rare piece today. Picked it up from the estate of an operator, not in an estate sale, but the guy's daughter contacted me, had this for sale, and it hasn't been powered on since the late 80s. And I haven't powered it on in fear of the caps going boom. But it's a DNA Warrior, somewhat of a relic when it comes to CB amps. Highly sought after by many people, especially DNA collectors that collect these amps. Made in Scottsbluff, Nebraska, along with the Phantoms, the Mavericks, the Raiders. Everything made by DNA, made in Nebraska. And this is one of the more rare amps, in my opinion, specifically strictly CB amps, but they're rare. And the only other thing that I can compare to them that's as near as rare is probably like a T600, which is the black and white Phantom, one of the last amps that they came out with. But these Warriors are not very common, and this one is in pretty good shape. It's got some surface deals going on here, but nothing really terrible. You can see a spot over here, but it's an old amp. So hard to expect it to be brand new. All the labels are still intact on it. Power cords are in excellent shape. This is the power supply. This is obviously the RF deck, which is about the same size, or it is the same size as a Phantom, uses the same case. And then you've got the power supply that's in a Maverick 250 type case. It's got two switches on it. This thing's got two transformers in it, so you turn them on, you know, one set of transformers, then the other set. I may pop the lids off of it a second and give you guys a look into it. But it runs on 220. This, I believe, we'll confirm here in a second. We'll take the lids off, take a look. Is 20 tubes in this thing, I believe. It's a 4-driving 16, if I'm not mistaken. Now here's the thing on these DNA Warriors. They're extremely low drive. And when I say extremely low drive, I mean I'm talking 12 watts peak maybe. You might get away with 15 or 16 watts peak. Some of the Phantoms, Mavericks and stuff are a little more forgiving. People run export radios into them doing 35, 40, 45 watts. This amp will 100% go boom if you put that kind of power into it. All sweep tube amps, were designed back when CB radios were doing 12 watts peak, probably nothing more than 20 watts peak. So, you got to keep that in mind with these old sweep tube amps. They weren't made to handle the newer style radios, and this Warrior is a prime example of that. And sometimes this amp gets a bad rap because people can't just hook up whatever radio they want to and drive into it, and it lasts forever. With a low output radio, the amp does great. Now, output wise on these, I've never personally ran one myself, and I haven't hooked this one up, but from all the documentation I see, 1,500 to 2,000 watts is about what you can expect out of this thing. I think a 12-tube Phantom usually does about 11 or 1,200 tops peak, and people say crazy numbers that they get out of them. They claim they get 1,500 watts, 2,000 watts, whatever. I don't really buy that, but this thing will probably do that much power. No problem without overdriving it. But anyway, I think I'm gonna pause the video here, and what I can do is I can pause it, spin the pieces around, give you guys a look at the back of them, and then I can pop the lids off. Now I haven't had the covers off this thing. I did wipe it down, both pieces down with some 409 a little bit, clean them up. Could use another scrub down, but I haven't touched the inside, so we may have some dust bunnies or whatever waiting on us in there. But let me pause this. We'll take a look at the back, and then we'll at least take the covers off the RF deck. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, here's a look at the back of it. Come over here and take a look at the label on it. There's your serial number. And you've got 2 cables that attach right here. Those look to be factory, in good shape. Obviously they're a little bit dirty. I didn't wipe the cables down, but pins on them are good. 4. And then you come over here and you just plug them into there. This power cord looks to have been replaced for the power supply. I would assume the one that came out on it was kind of rinky-dink, but it's got a nice heavy-duty 220 power cord on it here, so shouldn't have an issue with that. And here's the label for the power supply. You can see the back of this amp is, if you were looking at it from the back, you'd probably think it was in mint condition, because the back is really clean on both pieces. And the connectors are in good shape. I don't know if it ever had connectors put on it. There's no documentation saying that it did. But, you know, I was told by the lady, seemed like a really nice, honest lady, that when it was, when her father stopped talking, that everything was working. And that, you know, he was actually talking on this amp with some of the radios that he had. And I have no reason to doubt her. I don't feel like she was being dishonest with me or anything. But again, I haven't powered it up because I know that if something sits for 20 or 30 years, that there's a good chance when you put the power to it that you might have some caps exploding on you. And I'd rather just recap it before that. But I'm offering it up for sale before it gets recapped. Obviously, if put new caps in it and go through all that trouble myself, the price is going to go up on it. But I'm offering it up for sale prior to that. Alright, I'm going to pause this, and we'll at least take the covers off the RF deck. It's real lightweight, shouldn't be a problem getting the covers on and off of it. This power supply is kind of heavy, so it might be a little bit more of a pain in the rear because the way those covers slide on or whatever. But give me a second, we'll pause this again, and I'll be right back. Alright, so here we are looking down in the Warrior, and I was mistaken on the amount of tubes. There is 20 tubes in it, but you've got 4 6JB6s, see if I can get out of the spotlight there. These are 6JR6s, I'm sorry. I was looking at that wrong. And now the 12 outputs are 6 LQ6s. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And I was trying to see what brand they are. I can't see what brand they are, but RCAs it looks like. So I don't know if DNA put their stamped 6LQ6s in this when it came out. If so, it's had no tubes in it one time or another. But you can see this thing's dusty. It needs cleaned out. Nothing that I don't think some 409 or other cleaner would take care of. Yeah, see, there's one wiping. It'd clean up pretty good. Just needs a little bit of elbow grease put into it. But I think it'd clean up just fine. But there's a look on the inside of it. You got a little key tube over here. This little small tube, if you're familiar with the Phantoms, they have a similar or same tube. 2 fans blowing here. And then you've got your large tubes are 6 LQ6s. So it can be converted 24 LQ6s or 31s if the tubes are bad in it. That's a possibility to do that. I don't know that the tubes are good or bad. They could be tested, obviously, but worst case scenario, if they were bad, 24 LQ6s or 31s, you could replace it, put in there, and probably do a little better than what it's doing right now, to be honest. Let's turn it up on its end here, take a look in the bottom of it. Oh boy. Well, the bottom side is a good bit cleaner. It doesn't seem to have gotten any dust in it or anything. Let's pan up through here and give you guys a shot. Everything looks good. I don't see anything that's been smoked or anything. I'm not a DNA technician or huge DNA enthusiast by any means. I like the Maverick 250s a good bit. I think the Phantoms are some of the best looking amps ever made, especially sitting next to a Tram or a Browning or something. And these DNA Warriors are damn near impossible to come by. I believe there was 300 of these made. That's what I've been told. That's what I've read, that there were 300 of these Warriors made. But bottom of it looks good. Heck, the bottom looks good as new. Hardly any dust in it or anything. I'll probably wipe that top side out. I may take all the tubes out and wipe them off too, but top side just needs a good cleaning. Alright, let me pause this video and we'll be right back. Alright, back at it. I decided to pop the lids off of this power supply. Let you guys take a look at it. Obviously nothing fancy here on top. We've got 4 transformers, and aside from being a little dusty, they look great. They're not rusted up or corroded or anything like that, which tells you this thing was obviously stored somewhere where it's dry. If you clean this thing up, it would probably look like brand new on the inside. Again, where's my rag at here? Wipe it down to show you that it will come clean. Now, if this thing had been powered on, I would not be reaching my hand in here, because obviously there is high voltage in there. Yeah, see, there's the clean spot where I wipe, so it'll clean up good and look brand new on the inside. But if this thing had been powered on anytime recently, there is no way I'd reach my hand in there. I'm scared to death of high voltage, and I'd have me a chicken stick in here poking around before I put my hand off in it. But there's the top side of it. Looks good. 4 transformers, like I said, 2 switches on the front controlling 2 transformers at one time. And we'll flip this thing up. This thing is heavy. I haven't put it on a scale, but it is heavy. And here is the reason that we haven't turned this amp on, and it's these capacitors. I'm trying to see. It's hard to tell if any of them have gotten swollen or anything like that, but could probably replace these. There's 3 capacitors on each transformer. Could probably replace them each with one newer style capacitor to replace the 3 there. But looks really good on the inside. Doesn't look like any of them have leaked or anything like that, or everything's in there good. I don't know if that's like looks like some double-sided tape they've got in there with. I don't know if it came that way from DNA or if that's been done afterwards. But power supply looks good, and I'm not turning it on. Like I said, the capacitors look okay, but looking okay and being okay is 2 different things. If it's been sitting, really been sitting since late 1980s, like the gal told me, then you charge these things up and anything can happen. So I'm not powering it on. If I keep it, it'll get new caps put in it. And of course, like I said, if I do that, I'm obviously going to have to mark the price up on it some, but there it is. Anyway, we'll put the covers back on. I'll set both pieces back up here, and we'll do one last overview shot of it, and then we'll wrap this video up. Alright, cool guys, I'll be right back. Alright folks, we're back here giving you one last overview of the Warrior. And like I said, it is for sale. I don't want to ship it. No way I would ship this thing with all that glass in it. And the power supply is heavy as a dang bucket of nails, so probably would be looking, at least $100 plus just to ship it. Then you figure the deck, protecting the tubes and everything else. It's just more a risk and a hassle than it's worth. I had a guy offer me $500 to ship it. He wanted me to ship it for $500. Paying me $500, that's shipping included in that. And I turned it down. I'm not going to ship it. So local pickup only down here in southeastern Tennessee on this thing. A couple different things run through my mind on it as far as options go. Keep it, recap it, and if tubes are bad, change it to 24 LQ6s or 31 LQ6s. That's one avenue to take. Obviously sell it as it sits. I would sell it, recap it, and then price it. But the price will, like I said, it'll go up significantly if I go through that trouble. The transformers in it are good for running small steel tubes, 4CX 250Bs, 4X 150s, and stuff like that. So, I'm not above gutting this thing out and turning it into a steel tube amp or having grinder too. The tubes in it, you've got 12 6LQ6s. I think 6LQ6s go for about $50 a pop. If I sold these for $30 a pop, you're still looking at, what is that, 12 times 30? Let's do some quick math for me here. 10 times 30 would be 300 to 360. Something along those lines. So almost $400 worth of tubes just in this thing. Could be painted and everything else and make it look really cool, nice custom amp. But I really think the best option for this amp is to leave it original, the way it is. Worst case scenario, you convert it to 24 LQ6s or 31 LQ6s, and you've got a nice, cool vintage piece of equipment that not a lot of people have. So anyway, this thing is for sale. I think I've had a local feller message me that I got to get back to. I don't know what he's got in mind on it, if he's interested in it or what. But that's it, guys. DNA Warrior. If you're interested, you can text me, 423-299-3535. Would accept trades on it, but like I said, no shipping. So if we traded, we'd need to meet up together. There's a few items out there that I'm looking for that I would trade this thing towards, or would accept trades in on it. But needs a good wipe down on the inside. As you can see, it wipes clean, looks good after being wiped up. And I don't really know what else to say about it that I haven't already said. But that's it. I hope you guys enjoy the video. This is probably the longest video I've done in a while, but it's a whole lot of amp to look at here, outside and inside and everything else. So I hope you guys enjoy the video. I haven't seen another video of a DNA Warrior out there. And who knows, in the future, if somebody doesn't buy this thing, we may have a output video coming on it. But we'll see, I guess. All right, folks, enjoy. I hope everybody enjoys the hobby. Stay tuned. We're going to be doing some more giveaways. Lots of vintage equipment coming up, some Gump Tune 29s. Man, you name it. We got a lot of stuff coming up. So you guys have a good one out there. Stay safe. And I hope your 2020 is going well. See you. Bye.